Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Beautiful day here in Rochester, New York.
Although, don't blink because that could change in an instant.
We can't go to camp. It's such a nice day, we can't go to camp.
Why?
They're off today.
Oh.
Or at least they're not, open practice.
I thought you were blaming the fact that the weather was too nice that you wanted to do something other than stand around and watch people hit each other.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I'm assuming when the weather is this nice, you'd rather be, I don't know, doing something athletic, like on the links or something?
Yeah, like a golf
that.
course, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. People, if
Which
you're
I enjoy.
If you're listening to this right now, you got a couple hours of sunlight left. It's, they usually, I think you can get out there till, 8 o'clock now?
Yeah, you can hit 9.
Yeah, why not? Go out there. Enjoy one of our local golf courses because I'm sure a lot of people will do that. Another person will do that. Next to Steblenko, you enjoy a nice hitting on the links, right?
I do, yes. I like to play the game the right way, and I count all my strokes and have a good time out there.
Wait, who is he going after?
He might be inferring that you cheat.
Is he inferring that I cheat?
I don't know. Do you?
No.
Are you a stroke
All right,
shaver?
I guess we'll find out.
How are you? Wait, where is this coming from? You've played with me once, and I got like a 54.
Just trying to get in his head. Don't let him talk it out of there.
We have a couple of friends that love to shave strokes.
Really?
Well, like kick the ball out from under the trees and stuff like that.
Okay. If Seth and I are playing together, I do that because I kind of like if you're gonna hit the tree on a backswing, I'm like, hey, move it out, don't hurt yourself. We're not playing for money or anything. It's whatever. Don't kill yourself.
That counts. That counts in the real game.
It's in the tree.
Yes, I understand that.
As far as I'm concerned.
When you're playing in the Masters on a Friday, that definitely counts.
Playing in the Masters.
I don't know. You said that he acted like you won the Masters when he beat you.
Me?
Yeah,
I
that's
did.
true.
I did.
So
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
there are some specifics to the word beating, but
No matter the way you say it, though, I did beat you, and you cannot refute that statement.
no, did beat you by 6 strokes technically.
Again,
Handicap,
Again, you are a person who regularly shoots in the 90s. I'm a person that gets really jazzed if I hit under 100. So, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I had a friend who shoots like low 90s, high 80s pretty consistently, and he hit 100 the other day. He was not happy.
See, that's depressing.
Go up in the triple digits. I haven't seen the triple digits in a long, long time.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good at all.
No.
Yeah, not a fan. I'm ready. I'm ready to move on from the golf talk. I'd rather be playing than talking about it because it's the Star Fantasy League Show, and right now and through the next month plus, we are going to be talking NFL football training camps. We're going to walk through every single team. We've been in the AFC East for 3 days now, and we're closing it up with everyone's least favorite team, the Miami Dolphins.
Really? I kind of hate the Jets more.
No. I'm saying, okay, not from a hate standpoint, from a just disinterest standpoint. Like, do you care about the Miami Dolphins at all?
Well, from a fantasy perspective, I do.
Okay, that's interesting because this is a team that confuses me in a lot of ways.
I agree.
And unlike the Jets, where you just hate pretty much everything they do, we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about how much we basically just detest the New York Jets.
The Dolphins are just consistently middling.
That's what I'm saying. They're just a team.
That's
you're
like
like
what they are. You're like
they're
going to
team.
finish probably middle of the pack. They have some talent on their team. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too great on defense.
All right, let's talk about their 2013-2014 season. They finished 8-8, but they were 8-6 and playing the Jets and the Bills to end the season with win and you're in for the playoffs, and they managed to lose both games.
I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting position for them to be in last year, and for them to fall short. I think it might actually carry into this season. I think you might see Ryan Tannehill in his third season with a shot to actually improve, and a team with now a third-year quarterback who may have learned a few things. So they're an interesting team. I am confused by them as well.
He's not bad.
They were claiming last year was Tannehill's breakout fantasy season. I'm like, pump the brakes here. Like he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback anytime soon. Like, what are they talking about?
He fell just short of 4,000 yards, and that's impressive in your second year, especially when his first season was 3,200 or 3,300. And we all know the sophomore slump it does come around. So for him to avoid that, that's a pretty big feat on his part.
Yet again, we keep talking about those quarterbacks with high completion percentages, high yardage, but total turnovers. He had 23 total, 17 interceptions, 6 fumbles lost, and only 24 touchdowns. So he's basically on par 1-to-1 touchdown to
He doubled his touchdown numbers, though. He did double his touchdown numbers. The biggest thing, I think, last season was they had to deal with the whole Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito thing, and they still managed to be in a position to actually play for the playoffs. They fell short, but they were there.
Well, that was my biggest offseason question. Will the Dolphins be a better team without the Incognito Martin scandal hanging over their heads? Because this clearly affected them in a really negative way at the time they needed to play their best, and they just didn't come together.
Well, they went right out there and they attacked that position of need. They got Brandon Albert, Jason Fox, Darren College, so they kind of bolstered their line from a depth perspective. Brandon Albert will start at left tackle, we're assuming. And then they went out and they actually drafted an offensive tackle or two, and I don't know, I mean, they're at least addressing the need.
Yeah, their offensive line couldn't be much worse than it was last year.
Yeah, Tannehill sacked 58 times.
It's only uphill from here. I would think that Tannehill is possibly able to keep some of those turnover numbers down this year. I don't see a significant improvement in offensive production though. But I think he can eliminate some of those mistakes, which if he had done it last year, they could have gotten an extra win or two.
I still think that you could actually take him as a backup quarterback with confidence. I really think that he could actually go out there and get you the numbers that you need.
There are some bad secondaries in the AFC East as well. Don't forget the Jets exist, and they'll be playing them twice a year. They have one of the worst secondaries in the league. No cornerbacks. Dean Milliner is their starting corner.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no problem with getting him as a backup quarterback. I just don't think that he's going to be able to have the type of season that pushes him into starting relevance. Have him sub in a favorable matchup.
He might be an interesting trade piece. Let's say if he ends up having a pretty good start to the year, his value might be a lot higher than it should be, and you could just dump him immediately. That might be something.
No, that's not a bad idea. You're right.
All right, let's talk about some key additions to this team. It's another. You talked about the offensive line, but we have to keep in mind they're going to miss Pouncey, the other Pouncey twin, the less talented one, who's not the best center.
Those guys are idiots.
No,
What?
The Pounceys.
Oh, the fact that they were all about Aaron Hernandez and all that crazy stuff.
They were. Yeah, they get in multiple bar fights like together, and then they wore the free Aaron Hernandez shirts. Those guys are complete morons.
That's weird. But hey, one of them is the best center in the league, and the other one's like the third best. So that's a pretty good family of centers, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's
it's
gonna miss.
It's a talent-driven league.
Yeah, he's gonna miss. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna miss half the season. So if your anchor is out, your best guy on the offensive line, that's gonna hurt. Obviously, hopefully the line can rally. Then when he comes back, they can hopefully be a top offensive line.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. I mean, that's a tough situation, but I think that knowing that going into the season is going to help a little bit. At least they didn't lose him first or second week.
Yeah, thanks. Marquise last year down first game.
Tannehill can actually get a rapport going with him, or whoever he actually has in front of him.
Yeah, their big offseason addition though was Noshawn Moreno, who we don't even know if he'll make the team. To be honest, I've been reading reports that he came in fat again.
Really?
Good job, Noshawn.
I don't know about that. I think he should be competing for the starting job.
That's what I'm saying. He should be, but they brought him in 1 year, $3 million deal. If they cut him, it's not like a long-term deal that they have to worry about hanging over their heads.
I think the biggest thing he's going to add is the play out of the backfield, catching passes. I mean, he only rushed for 1,000 yards last season, and he had the benefit of a Peyton Manning offense. So, I mean, he's not going to be your number one running back. He's not going to be another 1,000-yard guy.
He'll be on the team. I'm just guessing what his situation will be as a change of pace back and more involved in the passing game when they're looking at third down out of the backfield, stuff like that. But I think Lamar Miller has a shot at having a decent season.
All right, you know what? Let's discuss this because we're going to talk about some camp battles going on. The biggest one I think is probably at the running back position. You got Lamar Miller, who was the starter last year. They assumed he was going to split time. I heard a lot of split time last year, but it didn't ever happen. Daniel Thomas was just there. He was a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Miller definitely took a hit with the offensive line issues, but he also didn't really grab his opportunity and run away with it. I mean, I watched him all season last season, and he was just really a low-end RB2, and now you're really splitting time with a guy in Marino that he could do other things with this offense. So I don't know. I'm just not that high on him.
Well, he's not. I mean, he's not going to see the ball enough, most likely, to have the kind of impact you'd want to take him with any sort of high pick. I mean, there's other guys in better offenses with better offensive lines that are more tempting as an RB2.
I mean, you're looking at like a 60-40 split here. I mean, they're really neither of these guys is going to like come in. I just don't see them coming in and being a huge flash and just taking over the job and running away with it.
Yeah, it depends on the direction that things go. If he ends up coming out of the gate with a bad few games, then you're just going to see Noshan getting more of the lion's share.
Yeah, and then you just
and the
right
same,
in the middle.
But the same thing other way around too, because they're two guys that, especially Noshan, coming from where he came from, where he wasn't really relevant, and then he got in the Peyton Manning offense, and he did really well with it, but it's just hard to see either of them having a big impact from a fantasy perspective.
Yep.
That makes complete sense. And the last battle I wanted to talk about is the absolute logjam that the Miami Dolphins have at the wide receiver position now. Because last year, Brandon Gibson was playing really well halfway through the season. He went down with an injury. And then Rashard Matthews came in and played really well for like 3 or 4 games in the slot. And then, I mean, they're both coming back this year. They added Jarvis Landry as a rookie who's supposed to actually get some playing time for this team. So they basically have 5 or 6 receivers for 3 spots.
We're just talking about the third spot, right? The third wide receiver.
Yeah,
because Wallace and Hartline they're locked in.
Hartline had another 1,000-yard season. I picked him in either the second to last or the last round, and people like laughed at me. And
he did better than Wallace.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He is a solid fantasy option. He doesn't have any flashy numbers. He gives you 6 points or 7 points a week. And he helps you as a wide receiver 3. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, Gibson is still injured from what I saw. I mean, we'll see how that progresses through camp. Rashard Matthews did okay here and there.
He had like a 2-touchdown, 100-yard game. His first game he filled in.
I think you're just going to see a rotation of these guys. I think they'll keep all 3 of them, wait it out, see who does well. Jarvis Landry, the rookie, obviously has the highest ceiling because you just don't know what he's capable of yet. I really don't know. I think that you just kind of wait and see on those 3 guys.
I love Mike Wallace this year.
Well, whoa. What word did you just say before Mike Wallace? You love Mike Wallace?
I love him, yeah. He's
why?
Still,
please enlighten me.
He's still only 28. Okay, he's only missed 1 of 80 games that he's been able to play in.
Here's the most important question before we go to break. Has he ever run a route in his life? Have you ever seen him run a route other than
I don't think it matters.
Deep
he got missed
route.
multiple times last year. Tannehill missed him, and he should have more time to throw to him this year.
All right, we're going to come back after the break. We're not done with the Miami Dolphins. We're going to talk about some fantasy perspectives for this team and not Mike Wallace. No, actually we are. And we're going to do some John Holt's mailbag because that's my segment. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Yes, please tweet us at SFL Show if you liked my singing before the break. Apparently I sang. This is my segment.
That's my segment.
Wow, Nick really likes that song.
Yeah, he does.
I'm going to turn it into a mashup. I'm going to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, if you want to turn it into a mashup,
that,
if you were smart and you can figure this out, I should probably know that because I produce things. So, no, I can't figure that out either.
You think somebody's actually going to spend the time to do that?
Some people are passionate. If you listen to the show and you're a passionate fan,
John Old mashup.
Yeah, send it to us.
I think we could do a John.
Send
Old
a John
mashup.
Old mashup at SFL Show. We will love you. We'll probably give you a free T-shirt. I'm sure if it happens.
Yeah, we will definitely listen to that and give you some swag.
You'll get some SFL swag. You'll love it. All right, we were talking Miami Dolphins before the break, and we're going to continue on that train. Nick, I believe you had something you wanted to bring up before Zach went off on his Mike Wallace love tangent.
I'm sorry that you dislike him so much just because he left Pittsburgh.
No, I hated him in Pittsburgh as well.
You hated him in Pittsburgh?
When they didn't re-sign him, I was so happy. This is a true story.
Why?
Because he's not a route runner. I like Emmanuel Sanders better. I love Antonio Brown. I was hoping they'd sign Antonio Brown over Mike Wallace, and they did. I thought that was the better deal.
How's it working out?
Antonio Brown is great. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but how?
Did you
wouldn't
really
it
just
be
ask
better with
how
both
that's
of them?
working
I'm
out?
asking how it's working out with them winning. Mike Wallace stretches the field.
Yeah,
like
wouldn't it have been
he's
better
one of
with
the
both of
best
them in
players in the league at stretching the field.
Antonio Brown is a burner as well. He can actually run routes on top of being a burner.
Yeah, so it would help to have both of them.
There was no way they were going to afford both.
All right.
They would have to spend
All right.
$100 million on two
right.
receivers. It's never going to happen.
All right. The only thing I really wanted to point out was that this defense didn't do anything to bolster their position. They were middle of the road across almost every category, 21st overall, 16th against the pass, 24th against the rush, 14th in takeaways. They didn't really add anything. They added Louis Delmas and Cortland Finnegan. I'm not a big fan of Finnegan, but
No one is.
Yeah, the big question
No one
is
is.
how many cheap shots will Cortland Finnegan
Yeah.
dish out this year?
Yeah, he's just there for he's agitation.
Yeah, and then they don't have Deion Jordan for the first 4 games because he was suspended. I didn't see them really do anything that great to help their position. They're going to be going up against an improved Bills offense and obviously the Patriots a couple times this season. I think that they hurt themselves by not getting some bigger names there.
Yeah, they last year they were not a team that I targeted on StarFantasyLeagues.com for daily fantasy purposes, only because, like you said, they were middle of the road. You weren't like, 26 against the run, 28th against the pass. Like,
They were the Dallas Mavericks of football.
Yeah, you know what? That's an accurate portrayal because, they were just right in the middle of the road. You see their name, you go, oh, it's Miami. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I just think that for their purposes, for actually trying to move up in the standings, they did okay on offense, not so great on defense.
they're a fantasy snoozer, though. But we need to get into the offense. We're not talking about defense. We're talking about ADP for these players and where they're going in standard drafts right now. The number one guy on this team is Noshawn Moreno. He's the RB32. He's going 85th overall right now. That's a little high, I would say.
Where is that? On the 4-letter?
What?
I've got
I'm sorry.
well,
No,
that's
you're right. I wrote Lamar Miller underneath.
I'm sorry. All the
no.
information that I have is in PPR leagues. So
Oh.
yeah,
Because that's what matters.
yeah. Well,
All right. Who do you
I've
have first?
got Wallace going the highest.
Really? Because, this the four-letter lists Moreno at 85 and Wallace at 87. So you can get them both basically
Yeah,
the
I've
same
got
spot.
Wallace in the 6th or 7th, Miller in the 7th or 8th, and Moreno in the 9th or 10th.
I think their most undervalued has to be Hartline. I really do.
I swear, he is always undervalued.
I just
2
don't
years
understand.
in a row over 1,000 yards.
I don't understand people. You got to see he had better numbers than Mike Wallace. Obviously, the scoring ability is not as prevalent as with Wallace, but he's a favorite of Tannehill's. He's a check down guy in the slot sometimes, and I just think that you could definitely go. I have him in the 13th round.
Right?
I think you can go higher than that.
Right, that late, you're looking at guys that you risked on a lot, like guys with high upside. You're looking at. And I think the reason that he's dropping like that is because people don't see him as that high upside guy, which he's not. He's going to do what he does, like he does pretty much every year. So if if you're looking for production, if one of your receivers goes down, if one of your receivers doesn't pan out like you thought they would, if one of your receivers is on a bye week, you can plug him right in.
I think he could be a flex option every week. I really do. I mean, I know that's you like you just said. You know what you're going to get out of him. You know you're going to get 5 or 6 catches a game. You know there's a potential of getting 100 yards in a game. If he scores, that's a bonus. I just think that's in a PPR league. He's the type of guy that you want to have in your flex position,
especially in PPR leagues. Because like you said, he is a guy who will get. Unlike Mike Wallace, who might go for 2 for 30 some weeks, he will always get you the 5 for 48. The 7 for 70, things like that. That's a standard week for him. And in PPR leagues, that is gold. I love him. He is gold.
I also think that Lamar Miller is not somebody that you should draft. But that's I don't like him. I don't think that he's going to get a lion's share of touches. I just don't think it's worth it.
Personally, I would avoid the entire backfield.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to pick him where he's going right now. I think that you would have to. I mean, Noshawn would really have to not show up or get injured or something for him to be put in a good position, but. I don't know. They still had really high hopes for him when they drafted him, and I think they're going to give him a chance to prove himself. Whether that pans out or not, who's to say?
We have to face the fact he is a starting running back. So if you need a starting running back, well, go ahead. Just make sure that you get Moreno as well, and maybe even throw in Daniel Thomas down the line. I know, but last season you just saw there was no real decision made in that backfield.
Daniel Thomas had like 200 yards rushing last year. Really bad.
He had 400 yards on 109 carries. Lamar Miller had 700 yards on 177 carries. Oof. So, I mean, both of these guys are just middle of the road.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter to the Dolphins because they're just going to put one in and hope for the best.
I think Lamar Miller's got more potential. But, I mean, would you take Steven Jackson over Lamar Miller?
No, you're right. That's a good point. I wouldn't. I would not take him.
Interesting. It's interesting when you put guys against each other who will be in the same area, most likely, and then you're like, would you like that guy? Like, how about a Danny Woodhead over either of those guys?
Well,
probably not.
Yeah, I
I'd
would
take Danny
I would
Woodhead,
definitely take Danny.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, take Danny Woodhead 100% of the time.
Yeah, especially PPR. So.
Yeah. But that's not a – you said, you grabbed the starting running back, but he's not a starter, and I love
Danny
him.
Woodhead's going much higher than Lamar Miller right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so.
well, PPR. Definitely.
Steven Jackson, very similar in terms of where they're being drafted. But, you know, I mean, we'll
You're
see.
right. The upside is definitely there.
Yeah, the upside is there. He's got decent burst. I mean, he's a much more talented running back than Daniel Thomas is.
Yep.
He's just not. I mean, he's also put the ball on the ground a fair share too.
All right, how about the fringe pieces for the Dolphins? Anybody that you're looking at, like a Charles Clay or any of the other receivers like Landry, Gibson, or Rashard Matthews?
I mean, Landry, I would leave. I would pick him up off waivers.
Yeah, he's definitely an
He's a
undrafted
wait and
guy.
see.
They're all technically right now. They're all listed as undrafted from what I've been saying.
Yeah, Clay on the other hand, I'm kind of intrigued there. I mean, he had almost 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, 69 catches. I mean, there's a potential there, but I would much rather go with a number one tight end.
I would say, but was Clay's production a byproduct of the team kind of going through a lot of receivers and having injuries and all? He could have been just like, oh, I guess he's always been here.
But it also could be that he has a second year now or a year under his belt, a little bit of a rapport with Tannehill.
Yeah, he's strong. He's pretty fast. He's athletic. I think he'll be a big part of the offense. Whether he can make that jump into a Jordan Reed type area, I don't know if that's going to be the case.
He needs 3 more concussions to be in Jordan Reed's area.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for a backup tight end, you could do a lot worse. I think he's got more upside than a lot of the guys that you would be taking in that area.
The tough thing is that I have him as a 15th tight end, at least from the ADPs that I've seen. If you're in a 14-team league, you really have to consider him.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Those are a lot of teams, and he's basically going to be your number one if you're not getting somebody in the top 3, 4, 5 area.
You could do worse.
There's no more Tony Gonzalez, so you got to pick somebody.
That's true.
You got to get somebody. All right. We're done with the Miami Dolphins. We are done with the AFCs. Tomorrow we are breaking down AFC North's top team, my Pittsburgh Steelers.
Top team?
Yep, number one team. They're the best.
All right. Well,
I
guess if they're the best, we could definitely talk about it tomorrow.
They have 6 rings. 6 rings.
We definitely don't have to talk about it.
We're number one.
Once again, we don't have to talk about it right now.
Okay, fine.
You'll have your
Fine.
time. You'll have your time. You'll have your glory.
All right, we need to get to one of the questions in Giles' mailbag today. Johnny M. writes, Ray Rice received a 2-game suspension for his offseason troubles. Considering Josh Gordon might miss a full year, would you consider Rice lucky?
Yeah, absolutely.
How is this happening?
Here's the thing, though. I mean, the rules are the way they are, so I have to preface what I'm going to say by saying
the rules are written.
They are written. So, Josh Gordon, you made a big mistake, and you are being punished according to the rules in the NFL. However, the rules are absolutely bogus because Josh Gordon is getting suspended for marijuana use,
which does not aid your play. It does not make you better. It's not a performance-enhancing
It also
drug.
doesn't put a giant bruise on my face.
So Ray Rice, no, he's right. So Ray Rice uses violence to solve his problem and gets 2 games, whereas Josh Gordon comes off the field, maybe he's hurt, and says, you know what, I'm going to smoke a J today, and he gets suspended for a year. I just don't understand. And he's never had any violence in his past. He's never had any other incidents other than drug-related, which is just marijuana.
DUI.
Okay, yeah. And he was
after the
.09.
fact, yeah.
Sorry, I know it's not right, but still.
Call
I'm
a
just
cab.
saying,
Call a cab, Josh
yes,
Gordon.
call a cab. Be smart. But anyways, still, that weed, really? Like, you're getting suspended a year for smoking?
This rule is going to get revisited when it starts being legalized in almost more than 50% of the states.
In my opinion, I think the NFL needs to take a stand. They need to be a leader on this issue. This is a really big issue in the entire country, and the NFL is an organization that people listen to and they follow. They are following them constantly. So why not just take a stand? The fact is, the only person that you're hurting if you smoke weed is yourself, unless you go and you drive a car. So don't go drive a car when you're high. There, that's the end.
Well, here's the biggest thing. Ray Rice his allegations weren't just allegations. He was caught on camera doing this.
Yeah.
It makes it 10 times worse because you just go, it's not just a he said, she said thing which most domestic violence, if you don't actually know what happened, we don't have the court case. We're not there. We didn't see what happened. This is cut and dry. We saw what happened. He dragged her out of an elevator.
Yep.
How is he only getting 2 games? This is a public scrutiny thing. You shouldn't see it and go, oh, yeah, 2 games, that makes sense. People should be outraged by the fact that he's going to be playing in week 3.
Yeah, it's a culture issue in the NFL for sure. When you've got tons of guys, I mean, the reality is that there are so many players that get addicted to painkillers all the time.
Yep.
And an easy substitute, a non-addictive drug for the most part, I mean, habitually addictive, but whatever. Marijuana could be used by a lot of these players instead of doing those very harmful, very addictive drugs.
It'll probably prolong their lives.
They're equatable to heroin. They are literally equatable to heroin. And you punched a woman in the face and you got 2 games. That's just wrong.
Yeah, Roger Goodell's basically saying if you have a girlfriend or a wife currently, hit her, and you'll only miss a couple $100,000 on your paycheck.
Look at the NBA. The NBA did a great job of taking care of all these off-court incidents. And now, look at the NFL. They are screwing this up. They are dropping the ball.
I was expecting 4 games.
Yeah, Roger Goodell,
How about jail?
Shame on you, Roger Goodell. You are the ultimate chud. Coming after the break, we're talking Thursday Major League Baseball fantasy, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
That is right. We are here live, 105.5 The Team in Rochester. It's a beautiful day currently.
Tweet us.
Yeah, tweet us.
There's too much going on in our NFL build-up to not be tweeting with me right now.
Yeah, tweet us at SFL Show, at SFL Nick, SFL Zach. If you are excited about the Pittsburgh Steelers breakdown we have for you on Friday's show.
You know what? I might have to keep you in line here, John.
Why?
Violence is definitely a useful. I can't. Damn it!
What are you trying to say?
I was going to say I'm going to hit you.
Yeah, he's saying that he's considering hitting
I'm going to hit you
to solve
his
issue with you talking about it.
Well, because I know I'd only have to miss 2 days at work.
Oh my!
Right? I mean, that's acceptable, right?
Well, it could be 2 weeks.
Well, you know what?
It could be
comparable.
2 years.
You're right. You know what? That's comparable. It's 2 weeks for Ray. It's 2 weeks for me.
Well, if we have to total how much he lost. I think he lost like $200,000 because of how long he's missed. He makes $200,000 a week, so he's missing $400,000. So for you, you're gonna miss a lot of years.
Isn't that humorous though? Well, it's not really humorous.
No,
it's
yeah.
pretty ridiculous.
Bad word.
That Jay Mariotti basically did the same thing to his girl or his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and he was gone from ESPN.
Yeah, he's gone from like everything.
I mean, imagine it.
He's gone.
Even if you just like decked a coworker, there's a good chance that you're going to get fired.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I have to take a different stance on that one because I love hockey, and in hockey they beat the crap out of each other. And I don't know.
But what if they did it off the ice? What if you went to the other guy's locker room and punched him in the face? You'd probably get a suspension.
there have been on-ice incidents that have been prosecuted.
What if you went onto the bench and slammed your coach's head into the boards?
That's probably
that would probably be a punishable
That's a
offense.
coach. That's a bad idea.
It's an on-ice.
You would get 5 minutes in the box, and you'd feel shame.
It's an on-ice accepted part of the game. It's completely different.
Yeah, I guess.
But if you were to go out there and tackle our developer Greg and throw him down, I may have to fire you.
We'd have a good laugh.
Well,
and
he'd
then
at
we'd
least
fire
have
you.
respect.
That's true.
Yeah.
Got to put people
He'd be in line.
All right, the reason we're continuing this conversation is because there are only 7 games on the late slate on StarFantasyLeagues.com today, which means we do not have a lot to talk about. And this is honestly one of the most bizarro set of games I've ever seen because there's a lot of good pitchers and a couple bad ones, but even the bad ones don't have great offenses opposing them. So I'm having a lot of trouble here.
That just makes victory that much sweeter. And you can figure out this mess here that we have.
It is. I mean, it is a mess, though, right? Am I seeing things differently?
This is not an easy day. If you were to get in on the games today, you might have wanted to get in to the early round of contests.
Yeah, we do offer a full day's slate for the cash games. If you want to get in for a full 15, I think it was a 15-game slate. It's a 9 and a 6, which is a weird split. Thank you again, Major League Baseball, for splitting your games up so that daily fantasy is a little weird.
It is fun though when you get to watch game. I get to have it just on the TV during the day while I'm doing work.
Oh, do you? Thank you for rubbing that in, Zach.
Well, you can also watch it on MLB TV.
Oh, thanks.
online.
Yeah.
If you have a subscription.
Yep. No, I don't have that either. Hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, so let's get into this nice little tiny 7-game slate we got on here. Let's break down all the starting pitchers first because I think that's where you're going to get your that's where you're pretty much going. I'm looking to get my top 3 pitchers in and then just figuring it out from there.
Well, yeah, but the top 2 are facing each other.
I know, isn't that weird? We got Garrett Richards and Max Scherzer against each other. What are you doing here? Because these are two...
Watching and enjoying.
Yeah, I know. These are two really good offenses. Detroit's 3rd against righties. The Angels are 9th against righties. These are 2 top offenses against 2 top pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, I literally would stay away from this. I would just watch this as a baseball fan and enjoy it because fact is that these 2 teams could be facing each other come playoff time, and this is definitely a look into a possible matchup with Garrett Richards and Max Scherzer.
It's still the lowest over-under of the day.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not really saying much, though, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games are at 7.5 or 7. 6 out of the 7. And the other game is, 8.5, and that involves Hector and Wessie.
Yeah, with the options that are there, I'd say the goal is to line yourself up with a win. I mean, even though the Angels are at minus 127, it's hard to figure out who's going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm on the Nick bandwagon here. I'm not touching either of these guys. I have
a bandwagon. Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm spending a little bit less money, a couple hundred less, than going with Corey Kluber against Kansas City. Yeah. I love Corey Kluber, high strikeouts. Just he's been a big surprise this year. He's been really good.
Yeah, he has. He's taken advantage of his opportunity to be an ace, and definitely a good way to go. I mean, if you're going to go with one of those 2, I would go with Scherzer just because of the experience. Yeah,
I think so as well, and a very high strikeout clip.
Yep.
Yeah, but, I don't think you can go wrong with
Kluber, I think, is definitely it's a more attractive option. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of just like decent pitchers today. Like I'm looking down the line. I really like Tyson Ross
going my boy today.
Yeah, the San Diego Chicago series is just really fun for pitchers. Just picking pitchers there. Like you picked the Kendrick for Chicago a couple days ago. He had a complete game against San Diego.
But I mean, I love Ross because he obviously has the capability of going deep, high strikeouts, all of that. But I'm going to advocate for getting a little value out of this game because I think that you can have a couple of batters from San Diego, and they might actually do well against Edwin Jackson.
Yep. I'm going with Edwin Jackson.
What? Okay.
So how about that?
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this is his fake.
Doesn't he have like a 6 ERA?
Yeah. He's like a 5-something.
5.9?
5.61.
Okay, yeah.
He's excellent. No, I'm shaking my head no right now. He's not excellent whatsoever.
Today is his day.
Are you really advocating for Edwin Jackson?
Yeah, this is his opportunity at this value of $8,000 to have a decent game. He strikes out at a high clip. It's a very close line, obviously, and it's a low line, obviously. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the line, it's so close between Ross and Jackson, which may be a little startling. But I like his chances to have one of his better starts of the season.
Ross is expensive. I will say that much, but
I still think that you can find some value batters from San Diego. Whether or not Edwin Jackson gets the win, that's definitely a possibility because the rest of San Diego's lineup is atrocious. But Seth Smith is actually really good at 6,700, and Yasmani Grandal's hitting 4th in the lineup at 4,000. So, I mean, you could put a couple of those guys in because we know that the rest of the slate is disgusting.
Yeah. And
you're going to want to put in some big bats like Stanton, Trout, whatever the heck you want to go with,
those are the exact 2 guys that I was looking at from this lineup. Unfortunately, Solarte came over there. He's not available yet. Yeah, he's not available, and I don't think I would play him, to be honest.
The only thing worse than finding a pitcher today is finding a stack.
Well, the only one that I like is Miami. I like that full-on stack against Aaron Harang.
Really?
Yeah, wow. I mean, Aaron Harang is...
That's interesting.
Aaron Harang is... He has had his good games and his bad games, but... He's still one of those pitchers where you kind of take advantage. Miami's actually gotten a lot better against right-handers. They've gone from being like somewhere in the 20s to up like 15th or 14th against right-handed batters, right-handed pitchers. And Giancarlo Stanton, McGahee, Yelich, Ozuna, like all those guys are really good hitters. It's just the rest of the lineup that stinks. So, as you know, for those 4 guys, I think you could do it.
And Harang's had a bit of a drop-off, too.
That is true. A stack. I mean, we didn't finish up with the pitchers, so I want to get back to that quickly. There are a couple guys that I'm targeting that have decent price tags, like Matt Garza going up against the Mets. He's a guy that's been really inconsistent, but again, when he's facing bad teams, he figures it out. Teams that he can actually get strikeouts against, because he had a point where he only had like 3 strikeouts over 3 starts, which is just really depressing for him.
Yeah.
But then he had like 2 starts ago, he had 9 strikeouts against. I mean, he's up and down, but anytime you're facing the Mets, and he actually pitches much, much better at home, even though he plays for Milwaukee.
I really like him, and I really like Henderson Alvarez at almost the same price against Atlanta. We've talked about them a ton of times, how Atlanta strikes out against right-handed pitchers. And Alvarez has a great ERA. He's been really keeping the ball in play, really allowing his team to make plays. And the
strikeouts are the only issue, but again, Atlanta
will allow him to
high
get
ground
more.
ball percentage, and hopefully he'll be able to get a few extra strikeouts more than normal against that team.
Yep.
All right. The problem is we are moving on to off. Yeah, is anybody interested in anybody other than that? Because I mean, the bottom of the basement is just Wei-Yin Chen, ew, Danny Duffy, ew, and for some reason Zach is interested in Edwin Jackson.
I got a question about Danny Duffy. How does he have such a low ERA? Because if you really look at his game log, he only gives up 1 or 2 runs. He's got a 2.66 ERA.
He pitches like 5 innings, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean maybe 5 or 6,
yeah.
but I was like, man, I really want to get Cleveland. Danny Duffy's on the hill, and then I'm
no.
how the heck did that happen?
The problem with picking Cleveland against a lefty is their entire lineup is lefties. They have 7 lefties in their starting lineup.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have a couple of guys from there, like Santana.
There's a couple. There's a couple. So I think Nick Swisher's actually a switch hitter too.
Yeah, he is too.
But
I mean, well, regardless, I'm just saying Danny Duffy is actually pitching pretty decently this year.
You know what the funny thing is? I had the same trouble. I wanted to stack Milwaukee against Dylan Gee or G or whatever the hell we're calling him these days. The only problem is he's really good against. He's been really good against righties this year, and Milwaukee's lineup contains mostly righties.
I mean, he actually has been really good all around. 13,000 is a really good price tag for him. I wouldn't do it just because Milwaukee does have the potential to blow up.
I'm putting in the scoots.
That Mets staff, if they can put in a couple more offensive pieces next year, they could be really dangerous.
Yeah, that lineup, especially when they get Matt Harvey back, if he's anything like he was before the injury.
Are you just talking about the rotation or the team in general?
The rotation.
Because I think the team in general could be actually really good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they add a couple more offensive pieces, then the team will be really good.
I thought that's what you said, and that's why I tried to clarify.
Yes.
Clarified.
I'm trying to stroke the ego.
Consider it clarified.
All right, we were talking about trying to find a stack in general, which is very difficult on this 7-game bizarro slate where the only over 8 is 1. It's Chicago, Minnesota. That's where I'm going for that stack. It's got to be Minnesota. It really has to be. They're a middle-of-the-road offense, but Hector Noesi is so bad.
I have Minnesota as well. I'm not surprised that maybe Nick shied away from it because
he is so snake bitten.
His constant issues with Noesi.
Yeah, you are so snake bitten.
It's hard when you look at the slate and this matchup. I mean, there's at least some potential to put a lot of runs on the board, as there always is against Hector Noesi.
Yeah, you can save a lot of money too, because Oswaldo Arcia is at 44.87 on StarFanceLeagues.com. He's a lefty. Get him in there. Although Hector Noesi is a bit of a reverse split. He's bad against everybody, but worse against righties. Go figure.
The thing, I wasn't actually straying away from this because of Noesi. I was straying away because of Minnesota. I didn't find a single batter over 400 weighted on base average, and Arcia was like 360 or 370.
Yeah, he's the top guy.
So it's like, But
the numbers are the numbers are difficult. I just don't know any other place that I'd be really confident against a bad pitcher. I mean, there's not.
Well, if you're going to play Minnesota, look for Arcia. Dozier always has the ability to hit a home run. That's what you need. Suzuki, Plouffe, all those guys.
I know that tonight's kind of a mess. I think you can do better.
Yeah. How about this one?
And your better is Miami.
Yeah.
Well, what about, because they're actually really good against right-handers.
What about Seattle, real quick? Anybody? Wei-Yin Chen just hasn't been good. He has the highest home run rate per 9 of any pitcher tonight.
But they have the same problem as Cleveland. Everybody's a lefty.
I know.
So Justin Smoke, I think, but he's been really
although
Zunino
has the highest weighted on base average. He's only at around 5,000 on StarFantasy.com. He could be a guy that's a little bit. He's a catcher. Everybody needs a catcher. That's a hard spot to fill on a short slate.
Looks like we're going against Nick.
Man, we're going to have fun. I love going against Nick. That's probably my favorite thing to do on this show. I'm not going to lie. All right, coming after the break, we have to figure out this weird slate and give you our top plays of the day for Thursday. It might be a little difficult. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Welcome back to Bizarro Thursday on the Star Fantasy League Show. Lots of Major League Baseball to talk about. Oh, wait, no, there's not because the MLB split the games up in a weird segment.
It's the early-late slate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
The early-late slate?
I understood what he said, but he didn't really say it right.
Oh.
It confused me.
Well, it's both.
I are confused, but we need to give you our top plays regardless. Even when there's only a few games and they're not that great of matchups, we're still combing through to find the best plays of the day for Thursday so you can make your best lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Zach, kick us off.
I'm yearning.
You're what?
I'm yearning to come through tonight.
I really thought he said urinating. I got really uncomfortable.
I'm not
for a second.
urinating.
I'm glad.
I did it before the show, so I didn't have to worry about it during.
Okay, again, good for you.
Okay, I'm going with Brian Dozier.
You don't sound very
Yeah,
confident
you sounded
there.
really confused about it, Brian.
I was at
maybe.
8,700, which is part of my stack with Plouffe. And I'm going with Morales as my value.
Kendris?
Yeah, who's at 5,400 and it batted fifth. So I think he could be in a decent
I
spot.
believe I saw him in the 4 spot a couple days ago, too.
Yeah, so I like that. And then I am going to be going with my value pitcher, who I also think could possibly have his stud performance of the season, Edwin Jackson.
Oh, man. If this works out, I'm gonna bite my tongue. But
Do you think he's going to wear a do-rag on the hill? Because he does in his picture.
Does he really?
Yeah, he has it's like a do-rag or something to that effect.
It's a little strange that you looked at that.
That's
I don't know.
racist.
They paid him way. No,
No, it is not. How dare you?
Drop the R-bomb there.
oh my God.
No, there's a different word that's the R-bomb. We're not talking about that on the air. Go ahead.
All right. My play of the day is going to be Giancarlo Stanton
Giancarlo.
going up against Aaron Harang. I actually like Miami, and I'm going to make them the stack of the day. I think that Harang is okay, but I don't think that he's good enough to warrant straying away from that. Value play is going to be Yasmani Grandal from San Diego. I don't think I've ever really advocated for a batter from San Diego.
Grandal.
But he's at 4,000, and I do like their matchup against Edwin Jackson. So go ahead and do that. Tyson Ross is my pitcher of the day because he's about to dominate some Cubbies.
Zach is on his own island.
Get me out of here.
Zach is on this Edwin Jackson island that we will not be staying on anytime soon. It's a lone man island. It's just you and Edwin Jackson.
He's an overpaid, overvalued
Chud.
piece of trash.
Chud. All right,
We'll see what happens.
My batter of the day is the man, Jose Abreu, going up against Phil Hughes, who has not been good against righties. And Abreu hasn't hit a home run in about 2 weeks, so I think he is more than overdue for a bomb.
Yep, I like him too.
Yeah, and
he's a nice man.
Bomb diggy.
I can't believe nobody else said this. Corey Kluber has pitched 3 times against Kansas City this year, 12 fantasy point average. 12.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, yeah, that's no big deal. 12's
That's
only
so-so.
a huge number.
So-so.
I'm going with Oswaldo Arcia, 44.87, going up against Hector No Strikeouty. No Essie? Is that what his name is?
I hate him.
that.
I'm not talking.
I know, you're not going
I'm
to
not talking to Hector.
And then Zach and I agree on one thing, and that one thing is stack the Minnesota Twins. Get 3 or 4 of them in there because
do it.
you need it.
They stink.
I don't.
Harang's going to shut down Miami tonight.
You're advocating for San Diego. They stink. I'm advocating
I just
for
said you
Minnesota.
can find value there.
I'm advocating for
You
Seattle.
also
They
also
stink.
advocated for the Angels yesterday against Chris Tillman, and how did that work out? Oh!
He just pumped
He
his
gave
fist.
up 1 run.
He's pumping his
One
fist
run.
right now.
All right, this is one of those bizarro days where we're honestly just fighting about things that none of us actually know what's going on. It's going to be one of those really weird, low-scoring days.
Let me get in one shot. 2 weeks. I'm down with that, but just one shot to the eye.
Draft Mike Wallace. You won't regret it. Do it.
God, come back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Titletown.
You're not going to bring one of those
Titletown?
stupid
Did you
towels
say
in, are you?
Titletown?
Yep,
You're
Titletown.
You
not
said
gonna have-
Titletown?
I did.
Green Bay Packers are Titletown, my friend.
How many titles you got?
You're not going to
Yeah,
bring in
how
one
many
of those.
how many NFL championships do we have? How many NFL leagues did your team create?
I love that
These guys.
I love
You're not
that
going to bring
he's-
in one of those dumb towels,
Go,
are you?
Pat, go.
I love that he's getting all fired up. And if you want to hit your coworker, you'll only miss 2 days of work. So you should probably not do that. It's a terrible idea. Seriously, don't hit your coworkers.
Suspension.
Don't get suspended. Take it easy, guys.